Are we on? Hello, and welcome to channel 1912 News, where we go back in time and we really discover what's really shaped our world and, the history behind it. And we really get a closer look at what really happened. And today's topic is the scientific revolution. I'm brought here today with Reverend Harrison and myself, Santiago, and to really, dive into the scientific revolution. It's really when curiosity overpowered superstition, and where observation began to outweigh tradition. And the thinkers were dare to challenge the wisdom of the universe and to reach greater heights. And with these challenges, they were able to figure out a lot of more knowledge and the type of knowledge we use today. And now for our top-breaking story is Europe's intellectual world has been shaken to its core. And not really, it hasn't been actually shaken to its core, but for over 1,000 years, scholars have speculated that the Earth was the center of the universe. But with years of development and years of challenging each other's ideas, they figured out that it was not the center of the universe. And the person that found this was a bold astronomer from Poland. And he was a really smart person, and he produced a book called On the Revolutions of the Heavenly Spheres. And it claims that the Earth actually revolves around the sun. And with this, his name was Nicholas Copernicus. And Nicholas Copernicus is actually on set with my friend and my coworker, Reverend Harrison, right now. And he's going to ask some few questions today. Over to you, Reverend Harrison.
Thank you, Santiago. I'm here inside of University of Krakow, where Copernicus's heliocentric theory is sparking heated debate across Europe. Some say it's the dawn of new scientific age. Others call it dangerous heresy. And joining me now, the man at the center of it all, is Nicholas Copernicus himself.
Thank you for having me. I didn't really mean to cause an uproar, but I only followed the evidence. And the motion of the planets makes far more sense when we imagine the sun is really at the center. And it's a simple shift in perspective, but it explains so much more clearly in how, everything moves, like it can't just be this something, so broad. It can't just be something, so simple. It has to have a reason, like a smaller thing connecting with bigger things revolving around it. That doesn't really make sense to me, But hey,
Remarkable. But Mr. Copernicus, this must be controversial. How are your peers reacting to these findings?
my peers, yeah, some are intrigued, especially the young ones. I really want to know and I really want to evolve more, but they really want to test for the ideas for themselves. But it also does lead to a little bit of controversy, because church leaders are really actually coming after me, and they're not really happy that I'm solving and I'm disproving their ideas. And for centuries, the belief of the Earth being at the center of the universe was simply upheld by faith and philosophy. Like, I fear my ideas may take generations to be accepted, but it is the truth, and people need to understand this is just how it is now,
Understandable. Revolutionary ideas often take time to take root. Well, whether people agree or not, your model has certainly set a new course of scientific inquiry. Back to the studio, Santiago.
Thank you, Brevin. And after Copernicus' heliocentric model, the ideas just kept coming, man. Like a century later, an Italian philosopher named Galileo Galilei took Copernicus' theory and he aimed it towards the stars. Like literally, he aimed it towards the stars. He made a thing called a telescope, which was able to use and to able to see space more visibly, so we can actually get some evidence to our knowledge. And it just gave more and more of an idea and more evidence that not everything revolved around the earth. And with this, Galileo was, he was threatened a lot. He was threatened with torture. He was threatened with his family. He was threatened by a ton of things, by the church, because they didn't want other people finding out that this wasn't the truth. With this, he peacefully resigned, and he didn't want to take it any step further, because he already knew the truth, and that's all he needed, you know? And with this conflict with the church, his beliefs, they never disappeared. They never fled. It just became more of a reason for people to believe in Galileo. And another philosopher who was big in the scientific revolution was none other than Isaac Newton himself. And Isaac Newton created something called the Principia Mathematica. And Newton he really united heaven and earth. Like literally, like he figured out how to define the laws of gravity, and it was an elegant explanation. And with the laws of gravity, it was simple. When something comes down, or when something's high up, it always must come down. And from falling apples to orbiting planets, it'll all obey the same natural laws, such as this, perchance, if it dropped, that's all he had to prove. And it was great. The belief was great, and everybody was believing it. Although the church did not have any problems with this one, only because it defied the law of gravity, and it wasn't conflicting with how Earth didn't revolve around anything else. Then Johannes Kepler, who fine-tuned Copernicus' model of the heliocentric orbiting planets, and how it wasn't actually in perfect circles. It was normally in ellipses, so it was like phases. And with his mathematical precision, he set a new standard for astronomy, which raised the bar even higher to overcome and build off of his knowledge. So if anybody was to build off his knowledge, it would take a lot more intelligence. And nobody really proved that intelligence until Einstein, but we'll get to that in another story. And back to Brevin.
Thank you, Santiago. But before we continue, quick word from our sponsors, because even revolutions need funding. Are you tired of Aristotle's theories failing your experiments? Sick of explaining motion with the phrase, because nature wills it? Try Newton's Principia. Packed with formulas, forces, and gravitational pull, Principia Mathematica gives you the answers you've been searching for. Perfect for scholars, inventors, and anyone curious about how the universe actually works. Newton's Principia, because the universe runs on math, not magic. We're back. And now, back to the regularly scheduled broadcast.
Thank you, Brevin. From Copernicus' daring model of the solar system to Newton's laws of motion, the scientific revolution was just more than a collection of discoveries. It was a complete transformation of how people thought and how people were able to bring ideas together and to learn higher knowledge from that. And from challenging other people's ideas, people learned and tested more. And with these tests, more knowledge came to power. And with more knowledge comes even more knowledge. And people began to think outside of the box with this knowledge. Therefore, which led to greater intelligence throughout philosophers and other people as well. And no longer did the scholars and the philosophers need to rely on ancient texts or churches' authorities or higher power to understand this intelligence or understand this knowledge. They just began to observe and measure and test. With these hypotheses and these experimentations, they understood what and how the universe really worked and how the earth worked and how it orbits and how it ellipses. And with all this, their logic had became more understandable.
That's right. And those methods laid the foundation of modern science. Physics, chemistry, and biology, all rooted in this new way of thinking. Beyond science, a spirit of questioning helped spark the Enlightenment, encouraging people to challenge political and religious authority as well.
A revolution of ideas that continues to shape and to see the universe in ourselves, even today.
Thanks for watching Channel 1912 News. Stay curious, stay informed, and we'll see you next time. Thank you. Have a good night.